Yo, I'm just recording something here because I streamed yesterday, so my camera's still set up here with the mic and everything, so it's easy enough to just click record and talk into a camera, you know? I just watched this video from Brandon E. Lee asking 13 YouTubers what camera they use for fun. It's a cool video. He goes around just at this event that they brought a bunch of camera reviewers out to and talking about what camera, not that they use for content, but that they use for just shooting when they're walking around having fun. And I thought the responses were interesting, so I don't know, I have thoughts on this too. A lot of people said the Fuji X100, various forms of the X100V is the most recent. Somebody said the X100 original. Just a super fun like point and shoot photo camera. There's also the Leica or the Hasselblad, kind of same idea of just like really fun image camera. They're kind of split between people shooting photo for fun, people shooting video for fun. This is such a good answer to the crappy little no-name kids camera for shooting photos. I wonder if that thing does video actually. But usually I prefer shooting video over photo, so my answer would be a little different. I've never owned one of those photo dedicated point and shoots like that. For the longest time I didn't have that many cameras, and I guess over the course of the past year now I have a couple, not particularly good cameras, but most of them are junk. But I focus a lot on the feel of a camera, how it feels to shoot, the fun aspect of it, you know. And there's a degree of practicality when it comes to shooting my actual like main channel videos, which is the reason I have the FX30 that I shoot on now and the A6600 Sony that's up there as the top-down camera. One of my favorite answers from this video was from a YouTuber that I haven't heard of before, actually. Where is she? Jessica Kobisi? I don't know. She said the Canon 5D Mark IV, which is such a sick answer. And she explains it as just like, she's used that camera for so long, she knows it in and out, and that's how I feel about my M50 Mark II, which I don't have on hand right now. I'm lending it to my buddy Michael, but that thing is just like the most fun intro camera. That's what I'll always recommend to somebody that's like getting into it. It shoots 1080, it shoots 4K. The 4K has a big old crop, which is like one of those fun limitations that I've talked about of like, the camera doesn't do everything you want it to all the time. There's a degree of fun to shooting with the FX30, like that vlog I just put out on this second channel. Just taking it around, and you can kind of, I preloaded my LUT on that, and you can just point it at whatever. Autofocus is rock solid, and you know, you can crank the ISO up, and it in low light it doesn't look that bad. There's a degree of fun to that it'll look good no matter what, but there's also a large degree of fun to just having a camera with a lot of limitations that you have to work around, but you got to think a little more to get that image out of it. I think actually my most fun camera that I would pick if I was just, you know, walking around and shooting something not to use for anything but just to grab images for fun would be the original EOS M that I made the video about. I've got a big old lens on it right now, whereas in that video I was using the tiny, more, you know, C mount, D mount type lenses. Obviously with the modified firmware it's shooting RAW, so you have to do a little bit of processing afterwards. Just run it through the EOS M RAW, Magic Lantern, or whatever it's called. But it's just so much fun, especially with the modified firmware, making the shooting experience a little crusty and glitchy, and making it work with a tiny little $150, $200 camera, you know? Shooting on this point and shoot is also a good old time over the iPhone. This is my new pocket camera that I kind of carry with me everywhere. That the next main channel video will be on this thing, talking about kind of replacing my phone with a point and shoot. I've done a little bit of modifications to this, custom color profile, a little battery holster, since the tiny point and shoots do have pretty small batteries. But this thing is so much fun too, just in the aspect of it always being on me. So I've always got something in my pocket that's going to be a little more interesting to shoot on than an iPhone. On a similar note, this is the first camera I ever got, the PowerShot 330 HS. And this, I'm trying to think of what my answer would be to this video of like, what is the all-time favorite like camera to shoot on? And it really might be this one. It feels the best out of everything. Like I was talking about the familiarity with the M50 Mark II, and like if I want some presentable video that's just fun, compact, light, it would be that. But if I'm not worried about usability, it might be this thing, because I've been using this for literally almost 10 years at this point, since I got it for my 14th birthday. And it just, I don't know, something about the zoom rocker, the way the buttons are set up, it just, it's so much fun. Anyway, that's all for these thoughts. Also, side note, after the Osman video and the live stream yesterday, we just passed like 6,000 subscribers. We're up over 1,000, I think like 1,500 on the main channel off of that one video, which is pretty insane. It's so wild seeing Osman's reaction, and like, you know, I had that other video about this camera blow up earlier this year, and that was crazy, like seeing the numbers go from 300 subs to 3,000 subs. But at that point, it just kind of feels like numbers, but seeing like Osman didn't even directly interact with my video in any way, but seeing him like interact with the stuff that I made, and then seeing some of his people come over and like showed their love on my video was really cool, and maybe the first moment on my main channel that I've really felt like, okay, this is like something now. Like I feel like I could call myself a YouTuber at this point. It's a weird feeling of like the numbers don't exactly feel real until you get a certain level of like interaction or recognition in the space you're trying to be a part of. I don't know, I haven't fully developed my thoughts on this yet, but like up until, you know, yesterday, the most community I've felt was unironically the Breakfast with Bev series, like starting to see repeat names on this channel, like getting to know kind of some of you through the comments, and you know, seeing those repeat names felt like the first like real community building moment, and it's gone so fast. You know, I had some degree of that with the previous business that I ran when I was like 17, 18, 19, which I would like to make a main channel video on. I was telling myself I was going to wait to make a main channel video about my previous business until I crossed the threshold of the followers I had on that account versus what I'm doing now. So now officially my new YouTube channel is the biggest audience I've ever had. I've actually had this number written on my desk for months. The number is 4,754. That was the follower number that I had to break for this to be the new biggest endeavor I've ever done. And I really felt a sense of community, and that in that the old business, and you know, having people rock with what I'm doing, and interacting on a more frequent basis, you know, getting to know people honestly. And as I've broken that threshold, it's kind of funny how the timing has lined up of like right around that 4,700 point. I'm now kind of starting to feel that same sense of community that I honestly missed about, you know, the past 3 or 4 years since I shut down that old creative endeavor. A lot of people have been asking about like a Discord server, which I was kind of putting off because, you know, it takes a lot of time to set that up between everything. I'm doing literally everything myself filming, editing the projects themselves, even producing music to a degree, live streaming off of that. And there's not a lot of time to set up that other stuff. And I was just like, oh, am I jumping the gun? Am I too early on this? But then I thought about like the sense of community that I felt with my old business, and that was off of really far less people that would interact on a frequent basis. So it is like, I think it is the time to do that and start, building out what the next couple years of my life are going to look like based on the success of this. Really, yesterday felt like a kind of a big moment in like, oh wow, this is like a thing that like it's been a pipe dream of making YouTube my main thing and videos here and there, but now it's I did 3 weeks of weekly videos and I'm like, okay, I can see myself doing this for a while. It's obviously going to be tough over the holidays, but like in January, like really hitting the ground running with that and turning this into a thing I can do for the next couple of years, If I can, make 52 videos over 2024, if I can put myself in a position where like I can stretch the amount of money I have saved right now, if I can stretch that over 2024 in combination with whatever pennies I make from the channel, if I can really give this thing a full-time shot for all of 2024, I think the channel and the business and the community could be in a really, really cool place. Anyway, those are my ramblings from camera things to general sentiment things after everything that happened yesterday. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you on the main channel soon.